Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another review of The Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 5, Episode 8, Serving Up Betrayals. So the scene starts off with Candace in the recording studio recording a song. Her husband Chris is in there with her. And evidently Chris had been shopping around her song that she sang at their wedding, the song that she sang for him at their wedding. And he's been shopping it around, I guess, hoping for some producer or whatever to pick it up and produce it. So they found a producer, somebody, I don't even know his name, but some producer who's supposedly well known in the industry, who's worked with, according to Candace, he's worked with Biggie, he's worked with Nas, and just to name a few. And so she's in the studio recording the song, and she's doing a remix version of the original song. And it sounded really good. The remix version sounded really, really good, and her voice sounded really nice as well. So we have that going on. Then we get to Ashley and Michael. So Ashley says that she confronted Michael about, because the girls had sent her the article where it had the picture of Michael from the back at the dresser. So the girls in the group had sent her the article and she confronted her husband about it. And they, I guess, were about to get, I don't know, they didn't want to argue at home in front of the baby, so they decided to go out to a restaurant to talk about it. And Ashley says she wanted to be in a public place so that she would be able to control herself and not kill him. So his version of what happened is that he was hanging out with his friends at a strip club. They were at a strip club and a couple of the girls, I guess, had approached them. So after the strip club, they went to MGM, I guess it was a casino, and the girls followed, and I think there was a picture of him sitting in the casino with one of the girls next to him. So he tells Ashley that the girl asked him to go, if they can get a room for the night together. And he obliged, and so they went up to the room, and he said that when they got in the room, they started kissing. I think he said they were kissing, and then he said that he was so tired that he fell asleep, so nothing happened. The next morning he wakes up, he goes to the dresser to check his phone, and that's when the girl took a picture. So Ashley kind of is like forgiving him for this. So she's saying, we have a very untraditional marriage, and we have invited other people into our bedroom, and yeah, we used to do all kinds of wild things, but now I want it to stop. So it's kind of like she was kind of like giving him a pass, kind of like, well, because we were so loosey-goosey with our marriage and the boundaries of our marriage, Michael probably didn't know where the limit was. And so she really can't get mad at him because they had, invited other people into their marriage. So who is she to get mad at him if he decides to take some girl to a room? Because I guess he really wasn't clear on what the rules were as far as their polygamous relationships. I don't know. So she kind of is like, well, I wanted to stop now. We're not going to do that anymore. Now we're going to switch back to having a very traditional wedding where we are monogamous with one another. And Michael agrees. He says, okay, you're right. I agree with you. That's what we'll do. And then all of a sudden he flips on production, and he wants production to leave. And he's saying that I've given you enough content. I've talked about everything. I've bared my soul. Everybody knows everything about me. And can I just have some time with my wife? So I don't know what that was about, but I think they ended up leaving. And also he was like, no, Michael told Ashley, we're not going to get a divorce. We have 2 young children to raise. I mean, not 2, because I think she's pregnant right now. That's why I said 2. She said, we have a young son to raise, and divorce right now is not going to be an option. And he also said that the reason why he felt the need to cheat on Ashley was because they had lost their intimacy. And I mean, when you take your vows, for better or for worse, after a woman has a baby and she can't or she doesn't want to be intimate, yeah, that's the worst part for you. And you're just going to have to take it. Your solution is not to go out and find someone else because your wife won't be intimate. So, she just had a baby. That was like so dumb to say we've lost our intimacy. And yeah, that was it. That was that scene. Then we move on to Monique. So Monique is having a meeting with her staff, Not for Lazy Mom, because she's going to have a Not for Lazy Mom podcast, and she's selling tickets. Out of the 300 tickets that she has, she's only sold 2. So she's only sold 20. And so, they're trying to figure out ways to, just distribute more tickets, make more money, whatever. Just a big old business meeting. And so she needs to figure out what she's going to do about that. And she's invited all the girls to her podcast because all of them are going to give a different perspective on marriage based on their experiences with their own marriages. And that's the plan. Then there's a scene with her taking a walk with her husband, Chris, and their baby, their youngest child. And she tells Chris that the tickets are not selling. And Chris was like, well, if they're not selling, you need to probably cut back somewhere. And you're not going to tell Monique to cut back on anything. So she's going to make it even bigger and even grander than before. So they have a conversation about that. And then she tells Chris that Candace had dropped out of the podcast. And Chris was kind of surprised because he thought that Candace and Monique were on good terms. And so he didn't understand what was going on with that. So, yeah. Moving on to Giselle. So Giselle is in a furniture store and she's going to meet up with Robin and basically just to get caught up on the gossip. When they had gone to Monique's lake house, Giselle ended up leaving early. So she wasn't there when Candace and Monique had their fight regarding Candace being in everybody's business, being in everybody's marriage because, her trying to expose Michael and Ashley. Not expose, but Candace getting information about Michael and relaying it to Ashley. Monique did not like that at all. She didn't like the fact that Michael was cheating again, and she didn't like the fact that Candace took it upon herself to, to tell everybody else and to bring this news to Ashley, basically meddling in Ashley's business. Monique didn't like that at all. Now, some people might say that Monique didn't like it because she's guilty of walking out on being unfaithful in her marriage. And she doesn't, any talk about infidelity makes her very uncomfortable. That's what some people might say. I don't know. And so Robin is just getting Giselle caught up on that because she wasn't there for the fight between Candace and Monique. And then this is when Giselle tells her that she's planning a winery and she's going to invite all the girls. And Giselle... You don't care about wine. You don't care about no winery. You just want everybody together and you want some alcohol there because you want people to get drunk and you want to see a nice blowout fight. That's what that's all about. Stop with the whole I'm planning a winery. I mean, whatever. Inviting everybody to a winery. Then we get to Wendy. So there's a scene with Wendy and her husband at their child's karate class. I think this was his first day in karate class. And she's having a conversation with her husband that her maternity leave is almost over and she's going to have to get back to work, I think, at Johns Hopkins. As a professor, and she's telling her husband that she's having second thoughts about that. She wants to try something new and different in her career. She likes being a correspondent, a political correspondent or political consultant for CNN, and that she's trying to do something different now. But the issue is that she doesn't know what her mom is going to say because she says in her culture, the parents are expecting their children to either be doctors or lawyers. And she says, I've fulfilled that. I got my doctorate, PhDs, and now she wants to do something different, but she's worried that her mother might not support her and that her mother might be disappointed in her for, I guess, changing career paths. I don't even know what she wants to do. So I'm thinking, I don't even know why she's worried about that. But Wendy, I think your mom will be fine. You've done more than a lot of people. You've gone above and beyond as far as making your parents very proud of you. You have a ton of PhDs, you have a doctor, you've done it all. So I don't think your mom will ever be disappointed in whatever you decide to do. You can decide to be a pet groomer. I don't think your mom is going to be disappointed in that because you've accomplished so much. And you will always be a doctor. You'll always be Dr. Wendy. No one can ever take that title away from you. You worked way too hard to get to where you're at. So you will always be Dr. Wendy. So I think your mom will still be proud. Then we go to Robin. She's meeting with her parents. And she's telling her parents that her and Juan are looking for a house. But she doesn't want to buy a home until they're married. Now, her mom is okay with them getting remarried again. But her dad isn't. Because her dad is worried that they might make the same mistakes that they made before that led to them being divorced. And Robin says that, maybe her and Juan should go to counseling to try to make sure that they don't repeat those mistakes again. I have a feeling that Juan is in a much better place now, and that if they do decide to get married again, which I'm pretty sure they will, that I feel like this time around it might stick. It might work out. But my experience in seeing people who have divorced and remarried, my experience, not my personal experience, just by observing life around me, is that it doesn't work out. That whatever issues that led y'all to divorce, those issues are still there. And Juan and Robin might be that kind of couple that just might be better not being married, because I've seen a lot of couples where they will basically live together and live as a married couple for years and years and years, and everybody's pressuring them, get married, get married, get married. And as soon as they get married, they're like, within a year they're divorced. So this might work for them. Like, if it's not broke, why fix it? Other than the people pressure, other people on the outside pressuring them to get married. And I don't know why Robin feels like she has to be married before she can buy a house. I'm like, you have 2 kids with him. And y'all have done the whole marriage thing. It's not like either one of you was afraid to commit. Y'all tried that, and maybe that just doesn't work for y'all. But I wish her the best. He's going to propose to her at some point this season, and I hope that it does last forever and ever. So yeah, that's what she was talking to her parents about. You know, her dad's a little bit wary, but we'll see how that goes. Then we're going to move on to the main event, which was the winery. So everyone shows up at the winery, and I'm going to start where Ashley showed up. Ashley shows up, and she was dressed really nice, and I don't think she drank anything. I don't know. I don't think she did. But the conversation came up to where she didn't want to drink, I think, or something like that, because she didn't know she was pregnant. Now, I have seen since that Ashley, I think she is currently pregnant with her second child with Michael. And so all the girls were like, oh my God, you're going to have another baby? They were shocked, you know, because of the issues that they're having. So I think she, in that scene, I want to say, but then again, I haven't seen her. I think she was pregnant in that scene, because I think I saw a little pooch that she was trying to cover up with her cape, but who knows? Anyways, so she's not sure if she's pregnant or not, so she's not going to be drinking. So then they ask her about Michael, and she said that, you know, she's, you know, putting on her beauty pageant smile, and she's addressing her crowd, and she's saying that, you know, she tells them what Michael told her, that nothing happened. He did not have sex with the girl in the hotel room. And they asked her, do you believe that? And she said, I do believe that, because why would he lie? Because it's going to come out. You know, if he's going to lie about whether or not he had sex with her, and if they actually did have sex, then that's going to come out eventually. That's not going to be kept a secret. I mean, the girl took pictures of him. The girl told a whole bunch of people about it. Why would she? I don't know if did the girl say that she had sex with Michael? I don't know. So she says she believes her husband that nothing happened, and that she was going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And then they asked her, well, if he does this again, what are you going to do? And she says, well, if he does it again, I'm going to leave him. And then she tells the girls that her and her husband had she called it something. She said that their marriage had its own identity. And she told them that her and Michael would have threesomes, kind of like a polyamorous relationship. And, you know, the girls were like, oh my God, really? And this is what I had said before. Maybe they just, anyways. So they all assumed that the third person that would be with them was a man. And Ashley said no, it was a girl. It was a girl that she herself was interested in, and they invited her in. And so she says, but that's all changed now. They're not going to do that anymore, and that they're going to try to be as traditional as possible. So it was sort of anticlimactic, I guess you could say, because it wasn't as juicy as it was last season with the cameraman and the lawsuits and the sexual assault and all of that. So this was sort of anticlimactic. I'm thinking that Giselle and Candace really did not get what they were expecting, which was Ashley breaking down, and she just confronted it head on. She was like, okay, y'all told me this. I took it to my husband, and this is what he said, and this is what we're going to do, and we're moving on. So nothing left to see here. So then it goes to I think Candace had gotten a little bit tipsy because she's looking around and she's telling everybody, I love everybody here. I love everybody. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I even love Monique. And so then Ashley asked Candace, so you and Monique are good? And Candace was like, I love Monique. Even when she's pretending to be asleep, I still love Monique. And so Monique was like, what do you mean pretending to be asleep? And Candace was like, girl, you were pretending to be asleep when I told you goodbye at your lake house. You pretended to be asleep. And Monique was like, I did not pretend to be asleep. I'm always woke. And she tells Candace, well, instead of just accusing me of pretending to be asleep, why don't you just have a conversation with me and just ask me, were you asleep when I said bye? Because you didn't respond. And I would have told you that I really was asleep because I was really tired. I was running around with the kids all day, getting the lake house ready, but you wouldn't understand that, Candace, because you don't have any kids. And then Candace was like, oh, so now you're mom shaming me. And then Monique said, how can I be mom shaming you when you're not even a mom? Well, you're kind of taking a dig, Monique, at the fact that she doesn't have children. Even though right now it is by choice, you are taking a dig at that. And so then Giselle jumps in and says, well, this is not really about mom shaming and who was asleep and who was awake. Y'all are having bigger issues. And Monique says, yeah, you're right. We are having bigger issues because I thought we were friends. Well, I come to find out that the friendship was just a facade. It was all fake. And so then she turns to Giselle and Robin and she was like, well, y'all are friends. And, when you call, don't you also call too? When you invite her to events, doesn't she also invite you? She says, well, between me and Candace, it was a one-way street. I was the one always making the effort. I was the one always offering my time to her, and she never reciprocated. She never did the same for me. So it was a fake friendship. And then she says, and then I had to find out what my friend was saying about me, behind my back, or what she was doing behind my back or something, referring to Candace, going really hard and trying to befriend Charisse. And so that's where it all started. So I guess I thought that there was a table between them, but coming to find out, they were like right there in front of each other's faces. And so when Candace was talking, her hands were like waving around because she was talking with her hands. And Monique kept on telling her, get your hand out my face, over and over and over again. And I guess Candace was like, well, what you going to do about it? And so that's when the hair flicking began. Monique was flicking Candace's hair, and that's where it all went down, and that's where the episode ended. So we'll see what happens at the next episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. If you like what you see, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you at the next review. Bye-bye.